Anime is a medium of incredible creative variety, and as such, many shows through the years have touched on and featured primary themes of loss, longing, and depression, often highlighting characters interpersonally conquering these said feelings, if not just showing them in abstract and unconventional ways. As someone who has struggled with clinical depression for years, for all of my adult life and most of my teen years, I remember feeling strong comfort and emotional catharsis for all of these shows I'm going to present you today through different rough patches in my own life. Today I want to sell you on 3 anime that in some way or another touch on themes of depression, and also discuss how they do that in their own ways to hopefully match you with the show that will best relate to your current situation. If I sell you on any of these, of course, let me know down below, and hey, if you watch it, come back, let me know what you thought about it. And if you've already seen or love any of these shows I mention here, also feel free to try your own hand at selling people on these great anime, or others, in the comment section below. Let's begin. The most cult classic of all of these anime, and probably the least popular, unfortunately, is Haibane Renmei, a heavily beloved and highly regarded but rarely talked about with broader anime audiences, anime. If you like the aesthetics of Shadow of Colossus, Eco, or that kind of ethereal, ruined future society and nature look, on a superficial level this might be up your alley. Speaking deeper though, Haibane Renmei is a show about a girl reborn in a mystical land between, as a Haibane, a race of angel-like creatures that will eventually be called to the land beyond. The show focuses on the abstract ideas of death, life, shame, forgiveness, and sin, but more so the ability to forgive oneself when you believe you can never be worthy of it. It deals with a beautiful, mysterious world and music that's constantly setting the scene with symbolic imagery while endearing you to lovable characters. The first half of the show generally takes on an episodic nature as you meet each of the major characters our main character Raka lives with, while piecing together the setting and the history of this world. While the second half takes more of a plot-driven focus, dealing with artistic portrayals of self-punishment, including scenarios where one reason for arriving dealt with the ending of one's own journey in a previous life, if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes dark and bloody, but often beautiful and full of hope, the ethereal nature of Haibane Renmei bounces between psychological horror to beautiful slice of life, and it has a wonderful chance to give a new perspective or help make a change for the better, learning to love oneself despite a feeling of not deserving so. Aside from this, there's also a clear bit of religious subtext, if you couldn't tell from the footage on screen. Not to any particular religion or absolute sect, but more so to the positive and negative aspects that structured religion may invoke through a cultural lens. These things will also likely make the show connect deeply with those who have left their faith or may still be working through it. Or maybe even those still in their faith and happy but struggling in other ways. Since I've watched it, it has become one of my favorite anime of all time. In a lot of ways, my hope is by framing it in a video like this, more people will finally fall upon this underrepresented masterpiece. On the flip side, this is not a general interest show. It likely won't connect for everyone because of this, but for those it does, I'm sure it will be an unforgettable ride. And if you enjoy it, I hope you will share the anime and this video as well. An orphan of war kidnapped, made into a soldier, kept under the wing of a sergeant until disaster strikes, and the orphan is left alone, with no arms, and told of the person who led her, her sergeant's death. The second anime is almost certainly the most famous of the bunch, Violet Evergarden, a gorgeous KyoAni show chronicling loss and the ability to learn what love is in all of its forms, while regaining a reason of her own to keep living and keep stepping forward. Violet is an incredibly emotionally stiff and scarred young woman who, after the war, finds herself becoming a writer of letters for the largely illiterate society in order to properly convey people's feelings to one another and deliver those letters. Important for a time before phones and after a country-dividing war. This line of work causes Violet to meet people from every walk of life, coping, growing, and getting over their own personal situations. From the pain of lost family, to the struggle of addiction, to the failure of one's dreams, to heartbreak. Violet aims to learn in all of its various forms what the word love means, and in the process of identifying her feelings of love for her dead sergeant, also begins to feel the repressed pain of the people that she had killed during the war, the blood on her hands, metaphorically speaking, the families she no doubt severed. Violet Evergarden is another one of my favorite anime that I had a really hard time ever making into its own video. It's hard to say something that feels profound enough about something you love for so many different reasons. The 12-episode anime also features an optional movie and 1-hour OVA episode as additional content, as well as a second movie which wraps up the story conclusively. Tons of content, and some of the best animation the industry has ever had to offer. The only anime I have ever watched with my sister and mother, people who have never watched an anime in their life. The fact that they bawled and loved the show in their own right. If Haibane Renmei would hit hard with a more specific person in struggle, Violet Evergarden is something that can resonate with some part of almost every human experience, with near anyone. A perfect choice to watch with others or by yourself, and a beautiful score to accompany it. Full transparency, all of these anime listed in this video are in my top 5, and this one is my favorite. Sangatsu no Lion follows an orphaned boy desperately stumbling through life, weighted with shame and regret after his family dies. He's a professional shogi player, and the way that career works is essentially you make money when you win games, and the more you win, the higher your rank. The higher your rank, the more games you're invited to, and the more money your games are worth. Ray, as a young prodigy, knows that every person he beats, every time he feeds himself, in some way he is taking away from others who maybe need the money more. In a way, he is helping to stomp their dreams into the dirt. People who had families or debts, and in his mind, he has no one. He has no family, he has no obligations. What gives him the right to live instead of other people, with more to live for? There are sub-themes of physical and sexual abuse, both with Ray and many of the side characters, as especially in Season 2, many characters are given chances to shine, pointing at great heavy subjects of the human experience, from groupthink and bullying, to financial struggles, to abandonment, broken families, and desperate love that knows the extent of its sacrifice to perform. Sangatsu no Lion covers the weight of continuing out of respect for people who have died and the weight that has on continued living. It covers returning to people who had hope in you time after time and never living up to their expectations. It covers the reality of so many places of life. Rather than showing a rare success, it gives you glimpses into the nuanced ride of life, all of the ups and downs for everyone. But beyond that, our central character Ray's initial arc is about rising out of depression, finding joy in life, and wanting not just to live again, but to help others keep on living as he goes. This show has countless quotes and so many episodes that have brought me to tears, except notably, it's not tears in the way that anime often tries for. It's not some manipulative, puppy-kicking type of action, or some melodramatic sad backstory, but crying out of the sheer hopefulness it instills in me for the good of humankind. The small, beautiful things that people do for one another and can do, and what it really means to love someone, not romantically or even as a friend, but as a person. Sangatsu no Lion is what finally pushed me to start my YouTube channel 5 years ago, and a Sangatsu no Lion video was the first YouTube video I uploaded on this channel. Then, later on, when I thought I had quit YouTube, I came back, and when I came back to another Sangatsu no Lion video. Then on my birthday, a couple years later than that, I covered the show again. It is truly a series that means so much to me and has meant for such a long time, and it's so gorgeous, filling me with the life-affirming joy in a way that makes me want to be better in my own life. I'm really sorry if you are going through something rough right now. Truth be told, I had been for years. From the age of 16 at least, I remember making deals with myself as for reasons I couldn't end my own life, because if I didn't set up conditions when it was okay, I thought I might just run right up to the line when it got rough. I visualized and struggled with so much of this, from trauma and assault to losing my religion to struggling with my identity and my appearance. There are so many times that I have wanted to die. But it does get better, as generic as that is to say. As generic as it is to say that it's generic to say. I'm on a really good roll right now. I've been going to the gym every day this month. I've lost 20 pounds so far from the last 2 to 3 months, and the antidepressants I've been prescribed really feel like I've had a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. My point is, you may not know the solution or where the light is, but until you can see that light, until you are lucky enough to have that moment, there are things that can affirm you, even in the dark place you find yourself. And for me, these 3 shows helped me get by until that light showed its head. And for that, they'll be forever treasured. They helped make those times easier for myself on my journey, and hopefully they will for you, even in the slightest. It's not too late for 2023 or any future year to become yours. Sorry for the awkward transition, but thank you to the people who still allow me to live the life that I want, even if it's not always the most comfortable. Daniel Frousing, Zioma, Burrito Ronin, Benny, Icarus, Young Suk Chong, and everyone else who has joined my Patreon and Discord. If you want to talk to me, I also go live on Twitch every day at 3 p.m. CST, so please come by. And again, I barely take sponsors, and ad rates are super spotty for a few videos as I'm able to produce, and how spotty the views are. I really thanks doubly for all of the financial support everyone's given me on this project, on my channel. See you soon.